So in this video, we're going to talk about business and the type of leverages that we have to help us, make it in this world today, right? So it's all about business today. We're going to give two case studies, one nonprofit and one profit businesses that's doing extremely well in Ghana. But these principles can help you wherever you are. These things are not pretty, right? You are not sitting in the office in the AC, and we get programmed that that's the way to go. And people are sitting home for 20 years, 15 years, not making any money. And this Chinese, Lebanese, foreigners coming here, open a shop, selling, car parts and building materials and becoming massively rich while you are sitting down looking for a job in a bank or something. Like, it's just sad looking at these things because we have so much pride as Africans. We do not want to get our fingernails dirty. In this day and age, or since time really, all human beings have been using was leverage to become massively rich or successful in life. And what you do not have in life is time. You cannot leverage your time, right? So if you're an employee, somebody receiving a salary, that's why it's extremely hard to make it. So if you're receiving a salary, then you can put some of the money into other stuff and you leverage the capital. So we're going to get into the type of leverages that you have. In the past few years, we have some leverage that is going to blow your mind. Once you become aware of this, it's kind of hard for you to not make it. Let's start by, getting to the oldest form of leverage, and that was labor, right? And that is still applicable in Ghana, right? Labor. What do I mean by that? Labor is having access to people's time to work for you, right? So labor is cheap in Africa, unfortunately. That's why a lot of people, the Chinese, Lebanese, they come down here and they pay them very cheaply and they can become massively rich. Way back in the days, the Rockefellers of the world, the, Andrew Carnegie of the world, they used labor. They used human beings to make their money. It was hardcore to manage human beings. It's the oldest and the most stressful form of leverage that you have by managing other people, right? People have emotions, people get mad, people try to sabotage you. It's the oldest form of leverage that you have. And a lot of people come to Africa and become massively rich because they have a bit of money, right? $10,000, $20,000, and that money gives them leverage. They have the capital and they can hire a lot of people. Let's say you are starting a business in America, UK, wherever you are, to hire a human being, to help you out, it's going to cost you about $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year to keep that person. So you need a lot of money up front to start. You got to do everything yourself. So you do not have that leverage when you're starting out, right, outside. Whereas if you come to Ghana, Africa, for example, you can get somebody and pay that person like $2,000, a year, right? $2,000 a year, or, $1,500 a year. Believe me or not, even $1,000 a year, right? So you can get 4 or 5 people, $5,000 a year to help you with your vision, right? So labor is the oldest and the most stressful form of leverage, and people are still using that in Africa. But in the West, it's kind of hard, right? As society develops and become more, technology savvy, they kind of shy away from human leverage and they use technology and all that. And we're about to get into that, right? The second form of leverage is capital. That's the Warren Buffett of the world. Capital, just having money to invest, and that comes with trust. You have to build a lot of trust for yourself. So when somebody's investing in somebody, they trust their judgment, right? You need good judgment, right? So let's say I'm in Ghana, I have been buying land and investing in a lot of things, and over the years, whatever I buy turns to gold, right? Or I'm an investor in the stock market, whatever I do turn to gold, then I do have leverage with capital and I can become rich pretty fast. And I personally have an example of this, right? When I traded in the stock market within 2 years, when I became a millionaire, it was no way in hell that was going to happen that fast. Trading my time for money, right? You are talking about less than 1% of the population that get paid $1 million a year in salary. Most of the people that make money is because they own something. And that thing, the business itself, has leverage because over time, is going to have some sort of reputation, and you have the power of compounding on your side, right, with the leverage. So if you are good with good judgment, you good with capital, you are trustworthy, all of that, then you can use leverage. And if you're working for someone, there's nothing wrong with that. But what you can use is your capital, the money that you save on the side. You can use that to leverage. You become massively rich. You cannot leverage your time working for someone. You can't. It's you only one person. Your time is finite. You're gonna get tired. You're gonna sleep. You're gonna drive. You're gonna work out. You're gonna enjoy your time with your family and all that. Your time is limited. What you have is money. And if you come to Africa, yet again, is the small amount of money that you have here, you could use it to do a lot of stuff. That's why people become massively rich when they move down here with a bit of capital. In the States, yes, you could use your capital to, parlay, become extremely wealthy, but you got to know what the heck you are doing above everybody else, because everybody have access to that money in a way. using their credit cards. When people work outside, that's why you got to give it to them. They make decent amount of money. That if that person is brilliant, they can save money on the side and actually capitalize, parlay, and use that capital to become massively rich. That's not the case here for the average African. When they're working, they're not making much. As I gave you an example, to make it $1,000 a year, $2,000 a year, it's extremely difficult for them to save that money to parlay. Hence, if you're coming from outside with the money, you do have that upper hand to use your capital to become massively rich, because there's opportunity right in front of a lot of people. They cannot take it because they do not have the money to start to get a loan out here. It's not a joke. Credit cards does not happen here. So capital is after the labor side, capital is what it is. People became massively rich. The Warren Buffett of the world, people who were good investors, right, became massively rich. And now we're gonna get into the most exciting part, which is the third leverage, right? And that's technology. That's the Elon Musk of the world. That's Jeff Bezos. That's the Mark Zuckerberg, right? If you know how to code, there's a beautiful thing. Let's say back in the days, if I wanted an opportunity, I have to be very bureaucratic, go through a big company, try to apply, and then asking for permission. The beautiful thing about coding and technology in itself, the internet, is you do not need permission from anybody, right? So this is what I really want to spend a lot of time on. You do not have to know how to code. Coding, if you're a coding genius, you are good to go. You could just, all you need is your computer, a cheap computer, which you can save to buy, and you can code. And it doesn't matter what part of the world you are, you can make it. So if you are struggling in life, me personally, I think you are not skilled enough. You have to accept that. It's not the government. It's not whoever you think it is. The government could do better, especially in a lot of African countries. The corruption and all that stuff could get a lot better, and the country could do extremely well. So you, the individual, your perception is outdated. Let me get that again. The perception that you hold in your mind is obsolete. What you think is supposed to be the way things work, which is, go to school, get a great job, and all that stuff is obsolete. It does not work for Africa, as a matter of fact. It still works for some portions in the States. Even that people are, going to school, being in student loans there, and they're not using that college degree for the job that they went to school for. So imagine here, the unemployment rate is so high because everybody is kind of like programmed to go to school and then just sit back and looking for a job. And it just doesn't work that way. It's not a lot of job here for people. It's not. We are in the new day and age, right? So you have to know what market is booming. For example, real estate, right? Ghana is developing rapidly. So real estate is booming. So you got to jump into that. Farming, cleaning, right? We're going to get into businesses that's, you can go wrong, but these things are not pretty, right? You are not sitting in the office in the AC, and we get programmed that that's the way to go. And people are sitting home for 20 years, 15 years, not making any money. And this Chinese, Lebanese, foreigners coming here, open a shop, selling, car parts and building materials and becoming massively rich while you are sitting down looking for a job in a bank or something. Like, it's just sad looking at these things because we have so much pride as Africans. We do not want to get our fingernails dirty. Now, you could use technology to help you out massively. And I'm going to talk about social media. I'm going to talk about, writing blogs, whatever you are good at, right? Not everybody is good in front of the camera like I am right now, confident talking in front of the camera. Some people are shy. That's okay. You have blogs. You can write articles. Are you a good writer? You need a skill to get it out there. And the beautiful thing about this is, let's say, I'm going to give you this beautiful example. So I sell land, right? Russian Properties, Arcadia Limited, we sell buildings, land, and all that, right? Russian Properties. Let's say I want to sell land. Back in the days, I have to go and print a big billboard, pay a lot of money, and then pay whoever owns the postage, whatever, the government, to post my land up there by the roadside, hoping that people driving past by will see it and buy the land from me. It's a lot of money and a lot of energy wasted. First of all, they can say, oh, the billboard is taken or we not approve it, whatever. You need permission. Back in the days, you need permission for everything. To have this podcast, if I feel like, I'm confidently good to talk on front of camera and all that, I need to go and audition for somebody like, hey, I got this brilliant idea that I want to make content for people in the diaspora, help them out, see what's on the ground, let them think about businesses and, coming back home and putting money back home. And they're going to be like, no, you don't look good enough, or you're not tall enough, or you're not smart enough, whatever it is. And they're going to judge me before they give me permission. The beautiful thing now is it is permissionless. YouTube, if you guys want to understand how big this thing is, it is permissionless. You can pick up your phone, whatever it is, record yourself, put it up there, and now you got an audience. I did not need permission for anybody else. Back in the days, about 30 years ago, there is no way you can watch me on TV, your phone, whatever it is, without me going through a rigorous, process of people vetting me and denying me and all that, right? All of that is gone. All I needed was my phone and record, permissionless. And if you don't get how big this is, right, You can advertise whatever you want to advertise, free of charge, right? That's what I'm doing right now, free of charge. And it's up to the market to decide how good you are. So if you are not making it in this day and age, yet again, the government could make the country better doing our road, doing all that stuff. You are absolutely right. But you as an individual, you are struggling because you are not good enough. And the problem with us is we hate to take personal accountability. We hate to look in the mirror, right? You are struggling because your perception is updated, bro. It's outdated. And this brings me to where we have to look at a couple of things here. I'm gonna give you two examples of companies in Ghana that is doing extremely well, and maybe you can take something out of it. So I'm gonna look at Bust Up Boys. These are guys that were home, unemployed, and they were like, you know what? Ghana is extremely dirty. You drive around Accra and you say Ghana is dirty. Everybody says that Accra is dirty, Accra is filthy, blah, 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 because they are not clean on a regular basis. Choke gutters and all that. When it rains, a lot of flood and all that. Somebody sat down, used their imagination, thought about like, screw the office work, screw the bank, screw people laughing at me. I'm gonna get in these dirty gutters and I'm gonna clean, right? So this, we are talking about a non-profit organization. He did not need anybody's permission. He needed a broom, maybe two friends that were willing to go on a journey with him. He was able to tell them a story. This is what we're gonna do. Non-profit people gonna sponsor them in the long run, and whoever started the Bust Up Boys is gonna be extremely rich in the process. The government is gonna have no choice but to give them money, to fund them. What they're doing is too good. And you know what they used? They used social media, permissionless, to get themselves out there. So let me take you back 50 years ago. This Bust Up Boys doing a great job on the street was gonna have no way of showing the world or Ghana what they are doing, right? And it's discouraging. Now they have to go to television, beg them, try to pay them and all that for them to record. How many times are they going to come and record these guys, the work they're doing, to put it out there for the people to sympathize and see that these guys are actually doing a great work? Big organization that's taking these big contracts to clean the Ghana, they're not doing it well, and these guys are actually doing it well. They care about it, right? So what they did was they used social media, they used YouTube, they used Instagram to put themselves out there to show the work they're doing, and people are supporting them. Rich people will be supporting them. The government will eventually support them, and in the long run, it will become a big organization. 50, 100 years from now, they're going to be getting most of the big contracts in Ghana, right? So they born this thing out of their freaking brain, and they bought some brooms, and they bought some buckets, and they bought some wheelbarrows, and they rented some stuff, and they went to work. And the thing about entrepreneurship is most of the time you have to invest time. When I started my YouTube, I knew I wasn't getting paid for some time. Some people do YouTube for a year plus before they get paid. And some people cannot stomach that. A lot of people are not, motivated to work for free for some time. And entrepreneurship is what it takes. You are putting the time and you are not getting paid. But the time and your output is disconnected. If you are selling your time, the more you work, the more money you make, right? And your time is finite. That means your money is capped. And you are taxed heavily more than everybody else, right? The business owner gets to write off a lot of things before whatever is left, the government gets it. And usually the rate is lower too than yours. And it's quite unfair, but it's the reality. Now, the Bust Up Boys, they started this thing from scratch. They used the power of technology to get themselves out there, and now they are getting funded, right? Social media is a great thing if you use it wisely, right? Not just for consumption. Now, let's look at hot oven. Ghana has its challenges. You can come down here, try to work. You have access to a lot of cheap labor. You could do amazing things, but managing people here is not a joke. People are intrinsically lazy here. People tend to be very lazy, shallow thinking. I don't know if it's because of the pay or the attitude, but that is the case here, unfortunately. Now, it's quite easy to have a great location, one big giant factory where you have systems in place monitoring everybody, but it's extremely hard when you're trying to expand yourself and, open multiple locations. It becomes extremely hard, to be frank with you. People are going to mess up your recipe. People are not going to show up time. You're only one person, the owner, your manager, who you trust. You can't have trusted managers in multiple locations. If you notice, that's the case here. The only people that are able to do it is the Chinese and the Lebanese, because they put their own there and they treat the business like it's theirs. But Ghanaians, the companies that are doing really well usually have one big factory, and then they just spot it out. So let's look at hot oven for now. The lady was so brilliant. It's a bakery, right? The bake meat pie, bread, all that. Amazing recipe. When I take people to Acadian City, the site, they start by. Nobody has ever bought it and said, nah, this is not good. They love it. They got a good product, right? How do they get all their bread, all their meat pie across the country? They're going to sacrifice quality if they try to open another factory somewhere, right? Because they will get screwed, unfortunately. Here, it's not easy to replicate yourself in Ghana. They haven't really figured it out yet. The foreigners have, unfortunately. So what this lady brilliantly did was She franchised in a different way. All you need is a vehicle. Put the hot oven signs on it, and then you come and you buy it at a discounted rate. So let's look at bread. You buy one piece of bread for 20 cedis, which is about $1.50, right? It adds up quickly because this lady's printing a lot of money, right? I pass by all the time. Now you got over 500 cars that she would have bought to do this, and managing drivers that's gonna tell you stories. The car broke down, somebody stole this. She didn't want to deal with any of that. She said, "You buy your own car, you do whatever you want to do. Come and buy the bread for me. And instead of giving it to you for 20 cities, I'm gonna give it to you for 15 cities." Now she got all these cars working for her. She gets her money. Whatever happens outside is up to you. And this worked so brilliantly well for this lady, eh? So she's using human labor, right? But without managing the humans. How brilliant is that? That's the human labor. She got a lot of people. That's what Uber did using technology. She did not use technology. She was able to get people to do this and more people see it. And as you know, Ghana is extremely hard. People are not getting employed. A lot of people want to start businesses. But we all know hot oven bread is extremely good. Their meat pie is extremely good. If you can find money to buy your own truck, just like Uber drivers, and go buy this bread at a discounted price, drive all the way to the Volta region, whatever it is, and sell it, you make your 1,000 CDs within 2 days or whatever, 1,000 CDs within a day. You make money, you are a happy man, right? Whatever happened with your car, whatever, we do not care. That's the method that the hot oven lady used and has worked brilliantly well. And I just wanted to get into your mind to let you know ways of making money. It might seem so hard if you haven't studied it. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So I decided to kind of share a lot of these insights into businesses. So for you to see how to think and actually create something out of nothing, you can, yeah, absolutely create nothing out of nothing. It used to be harder. It's more easier than ever before because of social media. If you're a good writer, blog, all that stuff, you could do extremely well. So there's absolutely no excuse. The government could do better by fixing the road, clean the country and all that, but not to put money in your pocket. You are struggling because of you and you are not taking any action. Your perception is outdated. Your perception is obsolete. And it's about time that you think about the new age. The people making a lot of money now are the influencers, the Mr. Beast, the Kylie Jenner of the world, famous on YouTube, Instagram. Just think about it. If you have 3 million followers and you release a product that's $10 and even 100,000 of them buys it, that's $1 million easy. You need to know how powerful this thing is, and it's about time where you take advantage of it. Also, you need to understand where the wave is, right? You have to understand where the wave is. Let's say I hate being in the cold. Why would I go to America and live in America when I can go to Jamaica, be in Ghana? Go to where the wave is. If you want to make money, just see where people are making money and train yourself to be that. As a human being, that's the beautiful thing about human beings. You can train your mind to learn anything you want. You are not bound to what you learn in school. Like, oh, I'm not this. That's the stories you're telling yourself. So you could learn whatever you want to learn. You could be wherever you want to be. But I was all over the place with business here, but I hope, you get some insights from all that I had to share today. It's a very passionate, podcast today because I just didn't want to, confine myself to talking about this. I wanted to just talk about business, right? So if you like what I talked about, if you like this channel, you've been watching it, if you haven't subscribed yet, kindly do so. It helps a lot. Like the video, the algorithm loves it. And until next time, my friends, be legendary. Peace.